Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So on Monday I'm going to show you guys what we made. I went ahead and chopped up some carrots and some potatoes, and I believe it was half an onion. And then I went ahead and cleaned my chicken. I go ahead and clean my chicken breasts with some salt. I like to exfoliate it really well with water, that way you get all that sticky nastiness out of it. And I just add my salt and just scrub it until it's all clean. And then I turn the heat all the way down low and let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes ish. And then in a separate hot pan, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my onions, which is a lot. I believe I chopped up the whole onion. So what I'm doing is just going to let that saute. In my blender, I'm going to add half of a tomato sauce can and then half of el pato sauce. It's like a Mexican spicy sauce. It's that one, the yellow one, is actually not spicy, so you guys can go ahead and give that a try. I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken bouillon to that, a little bit of water. I'm trying to double the amount of liquid I have in there by adding water, and then I'm gonna add all of my sauteed onions to the blender, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend that and set it aside. Alright, I went ahead and added my chicken breast to my pan. I'm going to add some black pepper, and I'm just going to try to cook that a little bit. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to let all the liquid release, and then I'm going to try to get it just a little golden. And then I switched lids just because I wanted it to air out a little bit. Alright, if you guys can see, it is getting just a little crispy. It's getting some color to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes and carrots, and I forgot to soak my potatoes in water. That's why they're turning a little brown, but they're still perfectly fine. So I go ahead and try to incorporate everything together, and then I'm going to add my sauce. And then I end up just adding a little bit more water, and then I cover that and let it cook for about, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes. 20 minutes apparently, until the vegetables are all cooked. Then I'm going to go ahead and heat up some tortillas, and the way that I do it is I just place some tortillas in a paper towel and just cover them up, and then put them in the microwave and heat them up for like a minute, minute and a half, and it just makes like a nice little steam, and it cooks them nicely. So I'm going to make a pink drink. I saw this on Tiffany Beeston's page. This is so good. I'm going to do some pink cranberry juice with a little bit of coconut milk, and it kind of does taste like the pink drink from Starbucks. This is so good. Alright, and I just wanted to show you guys what my dish looked like on Monday. This was what we call guisado. I think it might be like stew in English. This is just such a good dish. Alright, on Tuesday I'm going to start off by chopping 1/4 of an onion, it looks like. So I'm just cutting off all the bad parts. And I chopped it up really finely. And then in a deep pot, I'm boiling some water. Once that comes to a boil, I'm going to add some thin spaghetti. And I'm just adding about a handful of spaghetti, and I'm going to let that cook down for about 10 minutes. I'm going to add some salt for flavor. Alright, in a small pan, I'm going to go ahead and add some olive oil and a little bit of, it's about 1 pound of ground beef, and I'm going to have to break it down really good. So when it comes to spaghetti, I like to break down my meat completely. I'm going to season it with some onion powder. I'm also going to add garlic powder, black pepper, and a little bit of salt. Alright, I went ahead and drained out my spaghetti after 10 minutes, and I'm going to add some olive oil so it doesn't stick together. And then I'm going to go ahead and drain out my ground beef as well. In that same pot, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more olive oil. I'm going to add my onions until they're translucent. And then I minced 2 garlic cloves for extra flavor. And then I'm going to add some Prego sauce. And I'm just going to let that incorporate. I think I added about half the bottle for this. I was going to make, the plan was I was going to make some homemade meat sauce for my spaghetti, but I just did not have the time. I didn't feel too well, so I just did this, and it turned out pretty darn good anyways. So I went ahead and added the ground beef to my sauce, and I'm just going to let that cook down, incorporate. I'm going to let my ground beef get some flavor. I just cook it down for about 2 to 3 minutes until it comes back up to a boil. And I didn't have any garlic bread or French bread, so I just took the easy route and I made my own little garlic bread. So when I don't have any garlic bread, this is what I do. I take some sandwich bread, spread some butter, add a little bit of garlic powder and Italian seasoning, and you just toast this up, and it tastes so good. I learned this when I was in college, and I apparently couldn't afford any garlic bread, so I just made my own with some sandwich bread, and it is still so good. You guys should definitely give this a try. And that's what it looks like when it's all done. It tastes kind of exactly the same, actually. Well, not exactly, but it's still really good. And this is what dinner looked like on Tuesday. I made a little side salad. This was so, so good. Then Wednesday, I did not feel like cooking, so I ended up calling my husband and having him pick up a pizza with some crazy bread. And that is what we had on Wednesday. It was easy night. Alright, Thursday I had something totally different on my list, but I was really craving Chick-fil-A, and I live an hour and a half away from the nearest one, so I attempted to make Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. So I started off with 2 clean chicken breasts. I went ahead and diced them up in bite-sized pieces, and I cut off the excess of fat. And I'm using the recipe from, it's the copycat book by Six Sisters Stuff, I believe it's called. Alright, that's what my chicken looks like after I've cubed it up in bite-sized pieces. I went ahead and added 1 cup of milk. And I added, the recipe called for 1 large egg. I didn't have a large egg, so I just used 2 medium eggs, and I just stirred that together. I went ahead and added my chicken breast and let that marinate in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And then I went ahead and started on my breading. I added, I think it was 1 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and then half a teaspoon of chili powder. And I went ahead and just mix that well. And then for my Chick-fil-A sauce, I added some mayo. I believe it was 1 cup of mayo. I'm going to link actually the recipe for the Chick-fil-A sauce down below in the description box if you guys want to go ahead and find that. I actually thought it tasted really well. After I finished following the recipe, I did go ahead and doctor it up a little bit with just a little bit more mustard and a little bit more honey. And I think it tasted more like the Chick-fil-A sauce. But you can just do it to your taste, but I will be linking the recipe down below. And the reason why I doctored up my Chick-fil-A sauce was because the barbecue sauce that I used was this smoky sauce, and I felt like the smokiness overpowered the Chick-fil-A sauce. That's why I ended up doctoring it up a little bit. But I think if you use like normal barbecue sauce, you shouldn't have that problem. Alright guys, I went ahead and then put all of my little chicken pieces through flour, and then I set them aside, which is just pretty a standard way to do it. Okay, so I added my chicken bits into the cast iron, and I went ahead and fried them up 3 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on one side, and I didn't take a video of what my dish looked like, but I served it with some waffle fries. It was really good. Then on Friday, I'm going to go ahead and make some buffalo ranch sliders. So for 1 large chicken breast, I'm going to add half a bottle of the smaller buffalo sauce into my Instapot. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of ranch powder, and I'm going to set my Instapot to pressure cook for 32 minutes. And I just served them on Hawaiian rolls, and that was dinner for Friday. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.